Hello, welcome to HITC Sport, and Mikel Arteta is one of the greatest magicians in the world. I mean, he must be some sort of sorcerer, a Spanish wizard, the modern day Gandalf, who uses mind control because somehow the guy still has a job at Arsenal Football Club and the backing of the fans. Listen, this man is lucky that the club is currently being run like a loony bin for the criminally insane. He's lucky that his owners have the footballing knowledge of a bag of squirrel teeth. He's lucky they've just presided over the single worst decision in the history of the club, because the fans who flocked to the Emirates last Friday night to protest against the owners, they sort of took the heat off him. But I'm sorry, lads, Arsene Wenger was driven out of town. We all remember the protests with the fans screaming until they were blue in the face for him to be removed from the dugout. He was being compared to a dinosaur, spoken about as an elderly charlatan stealing a living from your club. You know, despite the fact the man probably deserves at least 3 statues outside the ground. He's a guy who won you league titles, FA Cups. He's the only ever manager to go unbeaten through an entire Premier League season, and yet Arsenal fans tried to drive him out of the club with burning pitchforks, treating him like some sort of swamp-dwelling ogre. And yet, because Arteta is young and vibrant, because he sat next to Pep Guardiola for a few years, people have been hoodwinked into thinking he's the next managerial visionary. Why? Because he used to stick out cones at the Etihad. Guess what, lads? Patrick Vieira also used to work at the Etihad, and his playing days at Arsenal make Arteta's legacy in comparison look like he was just some unfit potato sweating in a Gunner's shirt. But would you like to see Vieira manage at the Emirates Stadium? Absolutely not. Believe in the process. Believe in Arteta's vision. What vision? Is he blind? They're 9th in the goddamn league. Wenger used to be criticised for targeting 4th every year. Apparently that was seen as failure. Well, you're currently 9 points behind West Ham. I'm literally having to sweat over whether or not you're able to finish above Leeds. They're a newly promoted club. We are in late April, and if Aston Villa win their 2 games in hand, they will go 4 points ahead of you in the league table. What is this? I just think it's unfair that Arsenal fans used to slander Wenger every year. People try to rewrite history and pretend that the Frenchman's final years at the club were just an embarrassment to the sport, that he was showing early signs of senility and deserved to be stuffed in a nursing home. Honestly, some Arsenal fans were almost advocating for him to have all the sharp objects removed from his kitchen, that he probably wasn't able to use the toilet unattended, otherwise he'd be stuffing toilet paper in his mouth. Oh yeah, well, here are Wenger's last 6 seasons in charge of Arsenal. 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 5th and 6th. But lads, that 5th place finish in 2017 was unlucky considering you hoovered up 75 points that year. Right now, you're stuck on 46. I mean, come on. Now, in his last 6 seasons, they lifted 6 pieces of silverware, including 3 FA Cups. Yeah, okay, they were lucky that they got to play the likes of Hull City and Aston Villa in the finals. I'm sure when they saw public shade bottle under the pitch, they probably eyed him up as if he was made of wet cheese. And come on, a seasoned, experienced winner like Wenger coming head to head in a dugout with Tim Sherwood, that guy had the tactical wisdom of a blocked toilet. But still, you can't look past the 2017 FA Cup final, beating Chelsea, the champions of England. They said Wenger was a dried up old walnut who'd stopped caring about winning trophies, right? Lads, the last season he ended without a piece of silverware to his name, it was in 2013. Now look at Arteta, hired in December 2019, with Arsenal 10th in the league on 22 points, but just 7 points behind the Champions League places. 7 points, that's all he needed to make up. And considering under Unai Emery, they just finished 5th on 70 points, including 4 above Manchester United, and the fact they'd reached a European final. Let's just say, this wasn't exactly a club in crisis, but now, nearly 18 months later, 9th in the league, 9 points adrift of West Ham, this isn't good enough. Why is Arteta being given such an easy ride? Why, because all the housewives in North London fancy him, is that it? I'll hold my hands up. I'm unconvinced by that trend for inexperienced managers to get jobs at massive clubs purely based on the fact they used to play for them. I like Frank Lampard, but let's be honest. The guy had 1 championship playoff failure on his CV. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was relegated with Cardiff, and Zinedine Zidane, yeah, it turned out well for him in the end, but still, the guy who's Carlo Ancelotti's assistant. And guess what? So was Paul Clement, and I wouldn't trust him to coach an under-13s girl volleyball team. But if Solskjaer is the PE teacher, then what is Arteta, the school janitor? The lunch lady serving out stale hot dogs? Can we just please stop the myth that Arteta is going to get things immediately right? Just because he was Guardiola's number 2. We've seen it countless numbers of times. Assistant coaches overhyped just because they sit in the pocket of a world-class winner. Remember Zeljko Buvac? Apparently he was the real tactical brain behind Jurgen Klopp's success, right? Listen, I can understand Twitter may be falling for that false narrative, but lads, even Arsenal were duped. Do you not remember them trying to offer him the job? Do you know where Buvac is now? No, not coaching Poaching's class at Hogwarts. No, he's He's a sporting director of Dynamo Moscow. Yeah, true managerial visionary him. Who else? Rui Faria, Mourinho's number 2. Again, Arsenal were sniffing around him. Clearly to further their fetish for managerial number 2s. You just know in the summer they'll be giving the job to John Terry. Anyway, Faria, the next managerial great. He was just sacked after managing 1 year Al Dalhil in Qatar. So please, does anyone want to tell me why Arteta is any way different to these men? Just because he stuck out training cones and bibs in training while at Manchester City, it doesn't mean he's the next Guardiola. Arsenal, don't you dare drop your standards. Don't you dare accept mid-table mediocrity. You don't build a giant Space Jam-sized stadium back in 2006 to wind up 10th in the league 15 years down the line. I'm pretty sure when that stadium was built that the goal was to be champions of Europe by now, contesting Champions League finals of Barcelona and Madrid every year. By now, they'd have probably expected to have at least 8 more league titles in the bag. Imagine telling the fans back then, just 2 years out from their invincible season, only a few weeks after their first Champions League final, that not only would they be waiting for their next league win title still in 2021, but that Spurs, a club who used to choke on stale lasagna in their battle for the top 4, that they would be reaching a Champions League final before Arsenal. It's the type of stats which will melt your brain. But please, allow me to try and dispel the Arteta myth. Just pull the curtain down and let you know exactly how bad he's been. Since his appointment in December 2019, you have lost 21 games of football. Of your 27 Premier League away games under Arteta, you've won 8 of the matches. I'm sorry, but that is utterly horrendous. Can you imagine the reaction if that was under Wenger? They'd be trying to burn down his house. Earlier this season, can I remind you that Arsenal went 7 consecutive league games without a win? Arsenal scored just 18 league goals at the Emirates this season, in 17 home games. In Wenger's last 8 games coaching at this ground, the club scored 27 goals. I mean, come on, why was Wenger treated as such a leper? In his final season, Arsenal were free scoring. They scored 5 goals in a single match on 4 separate occasions. They've never scored 5 under Arteta ever. The last time this guy helped Arsenal score 5 goals in one match, he was playing defensive midfield in a 5-2 win over Leicester City, you know, back in September 2015. Arteta has lost the same number of Premier League home games in one season than Wenger did in his last 6 years at the club. Let that one sink in, lads. Under the Spaniard, they look slow, sluggish. He's been given another goal machine like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and turned him into the Gabonese Fernando Torres, and not the good version. Christ, well, malaria or not, he's shown the goal-scoring instincts of a broken toaster. He was my first pick in Fantasy League last summer. I shouldn't have bothered because he's only scored in 6 Premier League games. 6! Why are Arsenal persisting with this man? When is it ever going to come right? It's not. He doesn't have the experience. You're essentially just letting some 39-year-old learn on the job? No, I'm sorry. What sets this guy apart from his childhood friend Xabi Alonso when it comes to management? Let's not forget, that guy just recently turned down a first-team job from Borussia Mönchengladbach to remain coaching the B team at Real Sociedad. This guy is sensible. He doesn't want to take his baby steps learning under the spotlight of a massive gig with huge expectations. He doesn't want to prematurely shove a promising coaching career in a blender by scrambling his CV and needless sackings. No, just earn your trade. Make your mistakes in a lower league, coaching the kids. And because of this, I can already tell you, I know that in 10 years time, Alonso is going to be managing in Champions League semi-finals, while Arteta will be a chewed up, broken, traumatized failure, forced to accept paychecks out the back arse of Qatar. I might even understand if Arteta was resting on some world-class playing days at Arsenal, but lads, the guy was better at Everton. You know, back when he was an exciting left winger. At Arsenal, he was trying to piece his career back together after a broken leg robbed him of his pace. He was now just some journeyman workhorse defensive midfielder. The Spanish Matthew Flamini, it was an entirely forgettable legacy. So why does he have the job? Arsenal sacked Wenger for a reason, right? This is a club who supposedly have a mission of winning trophies, competing in the Champions League. Well, let me tell you, when Arteta is being tactically outclassed by the likes of Scott Parker, it should tell you you are going nowhere fast. The reason why some Arsenal fans had brains resembling scrambled eggs the longer the club persists with Wenger is because they saw potentially available top-class managers slip through their grasp. Let's be honest, the club could realistically have attracted the likes of Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel. Why not? They're a big fat stadium stuck in the centre of London. And even right now, there's people like Julian Nagelsmann, Rafa Benitez, Massimiliano Allegri. Even Maurizio Sarri would do a better job than this. He at least has a managerial game plan, a tactical bone in his body. But Arteta, what exactly does he do? Is this what you hounded Wenger out for? To just bring in a glorified PE teacher? Is that it? Really? Good Christ. Anyway, that's it, videos. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Especially Arsenal fans. Let me know in the comments section below. What is the big deal with Arteta? What is it? Why do you all love him so much? Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.